Hello and welcome to We Never Met, the podcast where I have interesting strangers on every single week. Today we have...
I'm Meghan Langmyer.
You waved.
I know, I want to wave.
Hello.
Hello, world.
It would be cool if we had an audience here. So what people would know you from, like the MilwaukeePhoto account.
Yeah,
Instagram
my
account,
Instagram. Yeah.
which now has over like 6,000 followers.
Yeah, I just hit 7,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Today?
Last week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so very exciting.
It's growing fast.
Yeah, the last... since the summer, it's been growing rapidly. I don't know if it's because I've been posting more or what's been going on with it, but
yeah, is there specific posts that you do that are sort of that you find interact with people better here?
the ones that I'm noticing more so are the ones that are more popular or ones that are a little bit more unique. Like some of the spots that people might not recognize.
Sure.
I mean, you could post 100 pictures of the Calatrava and everyone loves the Calatrava, you know. They love the art museum. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's like the pictures that I'm taking in like the antique shop that people are like, where are you? Where is this?
Right.
I want to go here. I want to check out wherever this mural is.
Is that what you find most people? Do they like message you and stuff?
Yeah. I get a lot of like people messaging, asking where things are, or what people could do if they're up here for the weekend, that kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You're like you have to know a lot of things then.
I know a lot now about
I don't
Milwaukee.
know. Ask someone else. So yeah, has that introduced you to like a bunch of new stuff that you haven't experienced? Because you said you were from Chicago.
Yeah, I lived in Chicago for like 10 years.
Okay.
And then I moved up here like 5 years ago.
Okay.
And when I first moved up here, the whole reason that I started the account too was like I moved up here and I was getting messages from my friends in Chicago being like, why'd you leave? Chicago's so cool.
Doing?
What are you doing? There's so much to do here.
Yeah.
And I was kind of getting mad about that. Like,
How dare you?
you need to come up and visit me because
Yeah.
Milwaukee is awesome.
Yeah.
And there's like so much going on. There's a huge food scene up here.
Yeah.
There's tons of great museums. We're right by the lake. And in Chicago, the lake's like right there, but it's not super accessible.
No.
You come up here, there's a ton of beaches.
Yeah.
They're huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, not a lot of people go to them, but they're great.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Bradford's so clean and it's awesome. I love going to the beaches up here,
Yeah.
but so it kind of like kickstarted this thing of like, I wanted to go explore Milwaukee and like prove everyone wrong that like Milwaukee was so cool and everyone
Yeah.
needs to come up here.
Yeah. Did it work?
It worked.
Yeah.
I pulled my boyfriend. I made him come up here too.
Wow.
So within like 6 months of me moving up here, he moved up here too.
Is he from Chicago too?
He's from Chicago, yeah.
Wow. So it was like tempting him, like, oh, look at all these cool.
I'm going to send you 1,000,000 pictures a day.
And you're gonna feel left out,
Yeah.
and then you'll have to come.
Yeah.
So that's why you started your account, kind of then.
Yeah, because I think it was like a year after I moved here, I had like hundreds of pictures of
they
things
didn't
around
do
Milwaukee. And I'm
anything?
like, what am I doing with these other than sending them to my friends and bragging about all the cool stuff that I'm doing by myself?
Still cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess what was your initial, like, if you were going to start the account, right, and you went to these places, what was the first place you were like, I'm going to go to this place to show them how cool it is? What was that first? Do you know what that was?
Yes.
What was
So when I came up here, and I work at Discovery World, so I work at the Science Museum. In our front entryway, we have like Visit Milwaukee, like tourism guides.
Okay.
And I grabbed like all of them. And so I was like sitting at home and I'm like, I'm going to pick through these places. I'm going to go to as many places as I can.
Yeah.
And the first place I went to was the David Barnett Art Gallery over on the east side. It's like a tiny, like it's a mansion that someone turned into an art gallery.
Is it okay? Is it if you go sort of, if you're going towards like north towards like Shorewood, and then there's like a sort of a fork where you start going to Prospect? Is
Yes,
that where it
it's
is?
like right around the corner there on
Right.
Prospect.
Okay. I know where that is. Yeah.
And there's like some weird sculptures in the front yard and stuff. And they have like incredible original artworks in there. And you can walk around in there like it's an art museum. They're making frames for things in there. David Barnett was in there when I was there. So
Who is David Barnett, by the way?
I think he's like an art collector and
Okay.
just has this great collection and
Has a
art
mansion to
gallery.
put
and-
it in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a beautiful place to check out. And it was
Yeah.
like my first like Milwaukee experience, you know?
Yeah.
Just kind of like, what is this unique place, someplace that I'm not going to see anywhere else? It's going to
Yeah.
be this tiny little art gallery in this little house
Yeah.
that's weirdly downtown.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like there's the ability to do that here because it just doesn't cost as much money
Yeah.
as like say Chicago to
Right.
get a mansion to put all your, paintings
Exactly.
in.
And I went to like this like art gallery for free and I parked for free on the street which is crazy.
Yeah. And didn't get a ticket.
Yeah, I didn't get a ticket. It was great.
Yeah. So I guess from that point on, so did you post those photos of you going there on your Instagram account, or is that one of the ones you saved?
That was probably one of the ones that I saved. And maybe since then I've posted a photo from that visit. I remember taking a bunch while I was there. But it was like so early in my time here that I didn't really have the idea for the Instagram account yet. It was just taking all these photos and then sending them out to the friends that I was trying to prove them wrong.
So was it Milwaukee Photo always, or was it your name initially and then you changed it?
It was Milwaukee Photo always. I have a personal Instagram account that is my name, but when I was thinking of putting together the Instagram, I was thinking of like, okay, how am I going to curate this? Well, it's pictures of Milwaukee. So let's use photos. Let's use Milwaukee and figure out a name for it.
It's pretty impressive that was still available. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
I figured that would be swept up really quickly.
I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah. But now no one else can have it.
Yeah.
So from that point, when did you start actually posting like consistently on your account? Like what year was that?
I think probably 2016, 2017, I got a little bit more into it.
Okay.
Early on, I think I was just like posting every once in a while. Still kind of getting my footing of what I wanted to put out there too, and what I wanted it to be, how I wanted to define it. Yeah.
And how did you sort of figure that out? Because I feel like with accounts like that, you could take them anywhere. You could do anything you want pretty much.
Right.
So how did you kind of narrow down what you wanted to do with it?
When I was thinking of like what was my mission going to be with it and what I wanted to like, what I personally wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
What I wanted to showcase. Yeah, I wanted to showcase Milwaukee, but as I explored Milwaukee a little bit more, as I explored Wisconsin a little bit more, I wanted to discover more that I could around the state. So, I mean, there's only so much that you could see in the city, but what else is there around the state? What else is there around the Midwest? So I was kind of get inspired by everything else that I was seeing.
Right. And so the thing about your account and what I noticed is that there's not a lot of pictures of you on there.
Yeah.
And with Instagram accounts a lot, you find out a lot of people, it is just about them.
Right.
You know, it's literally them standing somewhere or them standing, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. Like them standing in front of something.
Or like fake doing something, you know, like you see the people on like the beach that are like posing like, you know, like they're not doing it actually. They're just like frozen.
Frozen in time just for that little moment.
Yeah.
But I wanted it to be, it's very intentional that I'm not on there so much. I wanted it to be something where whoever is looking at the photo, they could see whatever I'm looking at through their eyes. So it's a little bit more, it would seem a little bit more accessible to them. Like I could go out and do these things and I could go to this place. As opposed to like, I didn't want people to also get like compare-y. Like if I'm in the photo, like I'm doing these cool things.
And you're not.
Like I didn't want people to feel that way. I wanted it to feel like they could go and do it and like they were doing it through my eyes. Right.
Yeah. And I feel like that's a take that, you know, not a lot of people go with, you know, they want people to feel like they're missing out for some reason, you know, like I'm doing all these cool things. There was a time I used to live in Los Angeles and there was a time, me and my friend were at the beach and we literally were just watching someone on the beach. It had to be about 2 hours taking pictures almost at the same position of themselves.
Oh my gosh.
In front of the water.
Yeah.
I'm like, we know you're here. Okay. The first 50, like we knew you were here. Okay, dude, like stop taking the pictures. But he kept going. It was amazing to me.
Just trying to get the right one.
I'm like, how do you, this is like 2 hours of your day. You're wasting being here, like just not even enjoying it.
Yeah.
You're not even facing the right way. He was facing away from the water.
Which is like the best part, you know?
Turn around first, man. Turn around and take the picture that way. I should have just gone up to him, but like, let me take this. Turn around.
Yeah, we got this.
Like, but I feel like that's most of what, or a lot of what Instagram is. So it's like refreshing that you have a different sort of take on social media.
Yeah, I mean, with everything with like bullying on social media and people get really comparative to things and how Instagram like is hiding the likes now too. Like there's a lot of change happening, I think, in social media. So I wanted to have a different approach to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's working. Obviously it's growing. So, I guess with that Instagram account, when did you start taking it more seriously and why did you start taking it more seriously?
I think with with having like people message me and ask me questions about things, I was realizing, hey, people are interested in this.
Yeah.
People from Chicago coming up, or people from like Green Bay and the Upper Peninsula were coming down, and they're like, oh, hey, I'm in Milwaukee for the weekend. Do you have any recommendations? And so I'm like, oh, wow, I am a source of like inspiration for people. This is so exciting. And so that excitement and that like burst of energy from getting those messages was really encouraging to like continue and keep doing things and keep finding stuff and taking notes on places that I liked and why did I like them, and jotting those things down on little maps that I have around the house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. But I mean, that's how, that's how I find out about a lot of places too, is those like Instagram accounts, because you have a visual representation of like, okay, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And it takes like 2 seconds to look at that picture rather than reading an article about the top 20.
Right, right. And then kind of picking and choosing
like,
through them.
Do I like that vibe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me read another one, instead of just visually seeing it.
Yeah.
So it is helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when I first moved up, I was reading tour guides of the city too. So like I had all these Visit Milwaukee maps, and I was going through like, I had a Pinterest board of like things to do in Milwaukee. And like looking at those things, it's a lot of like stereotypical Milwaukee things. Like you got to stop at the cheese shops and you got to get a Bloody Mary. So my view of Milwaukee too coming up was very different than what it is now.
Yeah, I know she had a lot of Bloody Mary pictures.
Yeah, I had so many Bloody Marys when
really
I first
dived
moved
into
here.
that culture. Do you like Bloody Marys?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I think I'm a little like burnt out of Bloody Marys right now.
Yeah,
But
I never liked it. I was talking about this the other day. It was like, I just don't like tomato juice, so I'm already set up really to fail with that.
I love pickles and like the charcuterie set that they have on the top. So that's great.
There you go.
Liquid brunch.
And you can get a full breakfast. That's a little bit insane now.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting a little bit crazy. They have a full chicken on it.
Maybe there's a pizza on it.
Yeah,
sometimes there's a burger or brat on top.
I know. Yeah, it's like $40. Which is it's nuts. And so you're kind of burnt. What are you on like right now? What is your kick? What's your newest kick that you're on right now?
I have been on and off of like a pizza kick.
Oh, I'm always on pizza. Yeah. Fixture is great for pizza.
Fixture and their
it's like
wings.
my favorite.
Oh,
I haven't had their wings.
I've had every single kind. Oh, they're so good.
of there specifically?
Yeah. Okay. They have like a spicy Asian wing. I don't remember what it's exactly called, but it's incredible. They've got good buffalo wings.
Yeah, for wings.
Oh yeah.
But their pizza's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's a recommendation. There you go. But yeah, so can you explain like a time where you found like a really cool place based on the fact of your Instagram account? Like, is there a specific thing that you can think of?
There's probably a lot of things that I could tie into that, but I love the brewery scene in Milwaukee. And
what's your favorite one?
I really like Eagle Park right now.
Okay. I had him on the podcast.
Yeah. You had Jake on here.
Yeah. And they just moved too
they got a second,
or Muskego. Is that?
Yeah. I think they're still building it. I just noticed they put a still in there.
Oh, okay.
But I love Mobcraft. I love Lakefront. I love Milwaukee Brewing. There's just so many places, and they all are so unique. Like they have different kinds of beers too. So I love that talent that's around Milwaukee and that passion for beer. And they all are kind of like friends with each other too, because they're all
cool.
They promote each other. So I like that.
Yeah, the concept of collaboration, is that the same sort of thing that happens on social media? Is that a big thing or no? Are people like very siloed and they're like, don't encroach on my territory?
I don't know. I've kind of noticed a little bit of both. It probably depends on the person.
Yeah.
But I've been seeing more and more like collaborative stuff. And I see a lot of like faces that I recognize when I go to kind of like social media events and stuff to network. And it's great to talk to people. And you can tell like who are the people that are just like so excited to just like promote positive things and grow. And then there's the other people who are just like, I'm going to do what I want to do and you can stay in your corner. And but it's person to person, and it's just like anything else.
Do you get recognized at all?
Very infrequently, but there was a couple times that I gotten recognized for my ring. So I've been out at like restaurants, and I had a couple come up to me and they were like, are you MilwaukeePhoto? I recognize you because of your ring. Because there's like, I'm holding something and you could see this very unique. That's
really attention to detail. I don't think I've ever noticed that. Is it really unique?
It was a spoon. And it was my
Whoa.
great grandma's like set of silverware that my grandma had like turned into spoons. And so I have one, my cousin has one, and
How did you get into a ring?
I don't know. She brought it to a silversmith shop in like
That's really cool.
Massachusetts in like the 60s. And
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So it's like the back end of a spoon.
yeah.
Oh,
And the set too, I lost this once and I got so scared. So I looked it up and I found out the set's from like the colonial era.
wow.
And it's really, really old, but you can only buy like sets of 8 of the entire set now.
Wow.
So
And you're wearing one all the time?
Yeah. I found it. It was in the bottom of my work bag. It was great.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome. You could make like a whole business out of that.
Yeah, right?
Just selling spoon
Selling
rings.
the back of spoons.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, I was going to ask because you are not very frequently on your account. So I was wondering if people somehow like found you.
Not totally.
usually?
Yeah, not usually, which is kind of good. I like that because then I can creep around without people like,
Stopping you.
yeah.
Excuse me, who are you?
Who are you and why are you taking photos?
Yeah.
But so I kind of like that. I like that I'm not super recognized.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, my mom, she's on Instagram too, and she was
Yeah.
like, "You got to follow this account, Milwaukee Photo." Like
She said that to you?
Yeah, they go to all the places that you go. It's crazy. You'll
They
love
must be
their
like
photos.
behind you all the
And I'm like,
time.
Mom, I am Milwaukee Photo.
Well, how long did it take her? How many years or how long did you have before she knew that?
Probably 3 years.
What?
Yeah. Because I mean, my face is never on there. She would have never
Yeah,
seen me.
that's crazy. It never came up though. Like with your mom talking.
No.
Like, hey mom,
I just saw this thing because I was going to post about it on Instagram.
Yeah.
And no.
hey, you were just talking about this place and now it's on Instagram with this Milwaukee Photo. Are you guys talking?
Yeah. Do you know who that is?
Yeah, it's weird. They like know you. They must know you. Are you friends with them? That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, so now I'm sure she knows it's you.
Yeah.
And is she impressed with that? Because I mean, it's impressive that you have like 7,000 followers and like, do you feel like a pressure now to like go places? Because I feel like I'm speaking personally. This is how I would feel if I had like a big amount of followers and it was based on the fact that I was like going places. I'm like, oh, now I have to go somewhere. I have to go do something.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like stuff that I would do anyways.
Okay, well that's good then.
So like in the summer, if it's nice outside, I am outside until the sun sets. Like
Really?
I'm like, as old as I am, and I'm like, I'm gonna go play outside after work. I'm just always doing something on the weekends. Like I have like a list of like places I want to go, things I want to do. But I'm like constantly moving. It probably annoys the hell out of my boyfriend because I'm just like, hey, guess what we're doing right now?
That's fun though. At least you're doing stuff.
Yeah, keeping it lively.
Yeah.
But and I also love like traveling too. So every couple of weeks, I'll like plan a trip to like, go to Minneapolis for the weekend, or we're going to Madison for the weekend, or just go do something because I like to just go and explore stuff. So
Right.
I'm just like constantly on the move.
And there's a lot of things that are close to Milwaukee that people just don't go. Like Minneapolis is pretty close.
Yeah.
Like Madison's pretty close. Green Bay's pretty close. Like there's a lot of places that you can go.
Right. And like beautiful places too. And they're all
Right.
very different. Like I haven't explored the western area of the state too much.
yeah, I
I really
haven't
want to
either.
go out to like Taliesin and Spring Green and stuff. I lived in Iowa for a year too.
Oh,
and
really?
not terribly far from the Wisconsin border.
Okay.
So I would come to Wisconsin literally just to cross the border and like take a photo by the sign and then go back to Iowa.
All right, turn around. Why are you in Iowa?
For 1 year of college, I went to Loris College in
Okay.
Dubuque, Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was there for a little bit.
Oh, how did you like it there?
I loved it, but it was very small.
Yeah. Is Dubuque a big city?
No.
What's the like population? Do you know?
I have no idea. It's like it's a mini town.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how to
Is
how to
there
better
other
describe
colleges there other than that one?
it. There's another one called Clark College, which was on the
Okay.
I think it was just on the opposite hill of where Loris was.
Gotcha.
But I loved being by the Mississippi River there.
Hmm.
I like to say that I grew up in St. Louis. I lived there for like 14 years.
Oh, wow.
So having the Mississippi River nearby, like totally was beautiful to me. And I liked that area and that valley. But like that part of Wisconsin, I haven't really explored too much.
Yeah, me neither. It's supposed to be so beautiful.
Yeah.
So you kind of have been in all different places in the Midwest.
Yeah.
You were in St. Louis, you were in Iowa, you've been in Wisconsin, Illinois.
Yeah.
So you grew up in St. Louis then?
Yeah, so I was born in New York, and then I moved to St. Louis when I was like really little.
Yeah.
And I lived there for 14 years. I moved to Chicago when I was in high school.
Okay. So what appealed to you about, why did you want to stay here? Like, you've been to all these places, and I'm sure a lot of them offered similar and different things than Milwaukee does, but why did you choose to like cement yourself here?
I liked the size of Milwaukee a lot. I have like family nearby. I've got family in Chicago. I've got some family up here.
Yeah.
My brother went to Marquette. So when he was going there, I was coming up and visiting pretty frequently.
Gotcha.
And kind of just fell in love with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Like there was so much to do. We would go out and like explore something new when I would come up and visit. And then my dad moved up here and I wanted to move up here. So like I thought my whole family was going to like be up here. So I really, really enjoyed it. I loved the size of it specifically because it was accessible. Like you can go somewhere, you could park, you could have lunch on one part of the city and dinner on the other part of the city. And it doesn't take you hours, to get there.
Yeah.
So I liked that.
Is your dad still here?
He is, but he travels quite a bit. So he's very infrequently in town.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, that's the one thing I like about Milwaukee too, is like you don't have to sit in traffic for a day to do something.
Oh, yeah.
It would make like for a huge headache. And there's people in Chicago that do a similar thing where they go around, like I follow an account called like Chicago is my boyfriend. I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like sometimes it has to just take her all day to get to one place.
Oh yeah.
And that's all she can do all day.
That's like something that I did when I was in college down there was, taking the train around. I didn't have my car with me when I lived downtown, but it would take me like all day to go and do something. So I'd like pick one thing, like I'm going to go to the Garfield Park Conservatory today. And it would take me the whole day to get there, do something, and then come back.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just so what is your plan then with your account and like moving forward? What do you want to do with it?
I do want to have a website for it. It's been kind of like a dream of mine to build for a while.
What would you put on the website?
All the stories behind the photos.
Gotcha.
So like there's days when I have like a 1-sentence caption or I write like a full on like novel underneath them. But with every photo, there's like a backstory that I either think is like really funny or like kind of exciting or just something kind of cool, like I'm really into history. So like finding something cool and unique about whatever it is that I've taken a photo of. And I want to have a space where I can like write that story down. Yeah.
What's one of those stories that you can think of off the top of your head? Is there a specific cool thing that you learned or even recently? Yeah.
Well, I've been going to like Antiques on Pierce lately a lot.
I love that place. Yeah.
I absolutely love that store. And just like talking to some of the vendors that are there too. But I've been going there a lot because it's cold now. And it's something to do where you can literally spend hours in there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, there's
tons of things you don't need.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I never need any of it, but I get all of it.
I bought all of my glassware from there.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they got everything.
They've got everything. But just talking to some of the vendors and their stories of like how they find things, where they get things. And some of them are super knowledgeable about what it is that they're selling too. I'm super into like Southwestern jewelry, and there was a woman I was talking to in there who like she was also shopping and she just had all these stories of like going out to Arizona with her mom and like buying jewelry out there for like years and years and years. And like I like having those like small conversational moments and like somewhere to record that would be great. And like telling that story of those people that I'm meeting while I'm also taking these photos.
Right. Because you only have a limit of like how many characters on the Instagram caption?
Yeah. Until it kind of like gets angry at you and then it won't let you do anything.
What annoys me about Instagram, this is my gripe, is when you go over the character limit, it just deletes everything. Why does it do that?
Or when you kind of try to go, even if you're almost to the edge and you try to go in and like edit something, it won't let you do it.
Yeah. That annoys me.
I don't understand it.
Because I used to post like photos with like a little bit more of a story. I had this project, this like mental health project that I did. And I would go sometimes over the character limit accidentally. And I'd be like, ugh, it's just gone now.
Yeah. Everything that I just wrote in there.
Now it's just pictures with no caption. It doesn't make any sense now. Yeah. So that always annoyed me. Instagram fixed that. At least tell me like I'm going over.
Right.
Like on Twitter where they tell you.
They have like the little limit. Right.
Yeah. So you're looking at expanding to a website. What else would you ever consider like doing video stuff, or Do you use or utilize like Instagram story a lot for your stuff?
I do. I don't post a lot of like videos in there. It's still a lot of like photos of things that are in there. I want to post more like travel posts too. Cause I mean, I am going out like once a month. I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
So I do want to like talk more about that stuff. And like this month I'm going to, I guess next month, I'm going to Cleveland and I'll be in Buffalo for a while too. So like, I really like Rust Belt cities and going to these cities and talking about the things that are going on and happening there and how like the economy is coming back in all these Rust Belt cities too. And all the people doing unique, passionate things there too. Like Milwaukee.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have not heard great things about Cleveland, but let me know how it is. I have not heard the best. I heard Buffalo's kind of cool, but
I love Buffalo. I've got some family there too. So exploring there is one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Yeah. Cleveland is an interesting thing. And I've never been, I don't think I've even been to Ohio, but it's crazy in Ohio. There's like some of the biggest cities in the Midwest. Like Columbus is one of the biggest cities. It's the second other than Chicago.
Like there's so many cities in the state of Ohio that like are very recognizable. Toledo, Cincinnati, like Columbus, Cleveland.
Yeah. And I've never been to any of them. I don't know why.
The whole state for me has always been like a drive-through state.
Right.
And I've never
it's
really
close
stopped.
too.
Yeah.
Like you can go down there for, it doesn't take that long probably, right?
No.
Are you driving to Cleveland?
Yeah, I am driving.
How long does it take?
I think it's going to take us maybe 6 or 7 hours.
Okay.
Which
Not
is totally not bad.
Yeah.
I don't mind trekking that kind of distance. I mean, it's like 6 hours to Minneapolis. So
Right. Yeah. I drove to LA. So that was terrible.
Yeah.
By myself.
How many days does it take?
It took me 2.
Okay.
I did like a fast.
That's not bad.
I drove there with a friend, and then on the way back, when I moved back to Milwaukee, I drove by myself.
Oh.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I drove from, it took, 2 days. I stopped in Denver for a night, and then it was like 2 16-hour days of driving.
Is it like mostly interstate the whole way too? So it's like looking at backs of cars.
Pretty much, yeah. And once you hit Nebraska, it's like you start in that state and like you go through the whole long ways. It feels like you can see the end of it, but you never get closer. It's so flat and it's so straight.
Oh yeah.
It's like you can see for miles in that state.
Oh my gosh.
You drive through, it took a long time to drive through Nebraska, but when I got to Nevada, my car was like smoking.
Oh no!
Because it was in the summertime and it was hot, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna make it back." So I had to turn off all the air conditioning in my car in the desert during the summer.
And I hope you loaded up on water for that.
I was sweating.
Oh no!
It's disgusting to say, but like by the end of like when I got home to Milwaukee, my steering wheel was like gross.
Yeah,
it was like sticky because I was like I tried to turn off the air conditioning so it wouldn't,
you wouldn't overheat. Gas. Yeah,
it was a mistake. But so that was my trip. I made it back. I made it back somehow. Other than Cleveland and Buffalo, are there places that you are on your bucket list, even here around the Midwest, to explore and go?
I really want to go to La Crosse. I've never been up to La Crosse in Wisconsin. And Taliesin, I want to go up to the western part of the state and visit out there. I love Minnesota too.
I've never been to Minnesota either. Which is crazy.
Other than just like Minneapolis, I love Duluth. And I haven't been there in a couple years, so I want to go back there and then up to the Boundary Waters. I love the Great Lakes too, so kind of touring around them. I've been around Michigan multiple times. Last year I did a big trek around it. And I've done Lake Erie multiple times.
Oh, nice.
But I really want to do Lake Huron and go around that whole lake. But there's tons of coastline and in Canada too. So
yeah.
It's a beautiful lake. I want to see more of it.
Yeah. So is there any specific instances you can think of where people were reaching out to you that you remember still? Like someone like, oh, I can't believe that, like a cool story.
There's been a couple instances like that have turned into like deeper friendships.
Oh, really?
Where someone has messaged and, they've just moved to Milwaukee and they need like recommendations on something. And it just kind of turned into like, you want to hang out, by the way?
You're kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago, there was someone who moved up from South Carolina.
Yeah.
And she wanted something to do in the fall.
Yeah.
And it's Cassie Joe Photo, by the way. So she's on Instagram.
Yeah.
But she and her husband decided to hang out with me and my boyfriend, and they've become like lifelong friends of ours now.
That's really cool.
But then there's like so many other instances. I just like talking to people through my messages too. And in my DMs, if you slide into my DMs, I'll talk to you about whatever,
Yeah.
all Milwaukee based. So I just like having those interactions with people, and even discovering from people like new places to check out. Like, there was a woman who messaged me that was like, "Hey, come to my shop in Walker's Point and check it out." And it was like a tiny little like ethnic grocery store in Walker's Point. So like I love having these like small moments and small interactions with people. Those like make the biggest impact, I think.
Yeah. Do you think your personality on social media is different than in real life, or do you think it's pretty close?
I think it's pretty close. I mean, having like the energy and like going out and doing things all of the time. But I mean, there's also a little bit of distance there between like not having my face on there so much.
Sure.
I do think of myself as more of like an introverted extrovert. So I'm pretty quiet sometimes, and then other times I'm like, I can't stop talking. And
no, I get that. I'm mostly like, if I'm by myself, I am like just sitting. Or if I'm with somebody who I'm really good friends with, like I'm not talking all the time. I just don't have the energy to do that. Yeah. But no, I get that. So for the website, is there going to be like, is that going to be coming in 2020, or is that like a really far off goal of like doing that?
I would say it's going to be coming in 2020.
Okay. Have you started or no?
I have started.
Oh, cool.
And still kind of like figuring out exactly like the aesthetic that I want to have on there. It's
hard, especially if you don't know how to code.
Yeah. So figuring all of that stuff out. But like over the last couple of years, on certain photos that I've taken, I have just like a Google Doc of like, content essentially, and like stories that I've written up for things, and travel guides to different towns. I was up in the Apostle Islands over the summer, and I have a whole huge list. If you're ever going to the Apostle Islands, let me know.
Got you.
Got you.
Wow. So you're really organized then.
Yeah. But if I'm not doing something, then I'm sitting at home on my computer, like typing something out. So electronically, I'm very organized. My desk is a mess.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Do you like fancy yourself as a writer? Like, have you always enjoyed writing?
No, I have always hated it. But a couple years ago, I made it one of my goals to get better at creative writing. And so I got really into writing at work and writing for all sorts of different reasons, and keeping a journal just to get better at it and kind of discover what my voice was.
Sure.
So it's been something that I've been kind of like working towards. I don't know if I've necessarily nailed it yet, but
what do you think your voice is? Like, what do you think that is?
I think it's positive and maybe overly excited about things.
Okay.
But I want my voice to sound like something that is accessible, and much like my photos, where it's like, it could be this voice could be like in your own head telling you like, you could do these things. You could go out and, explore whatever it is. So I want it to sound positive, and I want it to sound accessible.
Gotcha. So when you're not doing this stuff, like what else are you doing in your free time? Like, what do you do outside of this?
I draw a lot.
Okay.
Just kind of like for fun.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of what I do is just kind of like exploring things. Love Netflix.
Nice. What shows are you watching?
Right now, we just finished up Peaky Blinders. So I loved that one.
Yeah, my brother watched that. I never got into it. But man, they really slash people up with those hats. That's what I got out of the show. Yeah.
Just watched The Irishman last night, so that was a good one too.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, it's like De Niro, Al Pacino.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of Netflix specific stuff coming out. There's one that looked really good that has what's that guy's name? It's about divorce. I don't know. Doesn't
it'll
matter.
come to you.
Yeah, it'll come at some point. But it's new.
I live like 5 blocks from Lake Michigan too. So I go to the beach a lot. Like even when it's cold, even when it's snowing, I love just going on walks and going to the beach. And where I live in Shorewood too, there's also like a weird nature trail that's in between two.
I ran past it all the time. It's on Lake Drive, right?
Yeah.
It's in between two houses.
Between two houses. I don't know where this nature trail came from, but it's there, and it goes down to the beach. I love that area too. But there's always something like new to see in that area.
What's in between? I never walked down there. Is it just
It's
woods?
literally just woods.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like a park that's like this big.
And you can see kind of like the back of these two beautiful mansions, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And you kind of almost, it feels like every time I go down there that you're stepping back into like the early 1900s. Like,
Yeah.
because those houses are so old.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
you know?
Do you ever wonder, like, when you walk past those houses? I used to run past them all the time. I'm like, who's affording these houses?
Yeah.
Where are all these millionaires that are buying these houses? There's so many of them.
And they're so, like, the upkeep on those houses is so expensive.
Crazy.
There's one that I drive past when I go to work and I see their like wood pile outside. So you know they have a wood burning furnace in the house.
Yeah.
Which I can't even imagine how crazy that is to maintain in the winter.
Yeah, it's nuts. I always wonder that. I'm like, where are all these millionaires?
Yeah.
Like,
What are they doing?
Yeah. There's only so many companies here that you could own or like, you know what I mean? Like make that much money to afford this.
Right.
So I just don't get it. Unless maybe like people from Chicago have houses up here because it's cheaper on the lake.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a thing too.
Yeah.
I mean, like Winnetka prices for houses on the lake are insane. And
Yeah.
I know that Shorewood's way cheaper than that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, even like just houses anywhere in Chicago are just nuts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, so is the website, do you have the domain name already? Or?
No, not yet. Still kind of figuring out what I want to do for that. I think Milwaukee Photo's already taken.
I was gonna say I don't want to say it if
Yeah,
it's already. It's
yeah.
like it could be taken.
I'm pretty sure it's already taken.
Okay.
So I want to do something different,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I'm going to have things on it that are more so like tour guides, places
yeah.
to go around. Something that's a little bit more focused on like some of those like Midwestern adventures.
Yeah.
So I don't know, kind of figuring out the wording that I want to use for it. Like on my Milwaukee Photo, it's something about like my Milwaukee spice life and eat, drink, and explore.
Yeah.
Midwest travels and local love. So I do have like my Midwest travels on there, but I think I want to emphasize that a little bit more so on the blog.
Yeah.
But we'll see. As everything kind of forms into place and I get it all my ideas a little bit better organized.
Yeah. But it's a cool Instagram account, and it'll help you find cool places to go. So definitely go follow Milwaukee Photo on Instagram, and whatever your website becomes.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I'm sure you'll post about it, and people will know. You just don't tell anyone.
Yeah, don't tell anyone,
Yeah,
and it's like a secret.
Yeah.
I want that organic following.
Yeah. I want to know how many people come just organically.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was great talking.